Let's talk Kabbalah. Peace, Brother Marcus. Peace, local KO. You see, I'm multitasking today again. So, this noise will be out the way here in a minute. And see if we can do something never before done to talk Kabbalah while washing dishes. So, I wanted to do this yesterday because, of course, the whole Easter celebration, to be on time with that, but it's all good. We'll do something a little. This was something that was going to be a class, which it is, but it'll just be more in depth through the website, which this is the month I've been talking about. April. Kept saying April, right? Just had to get through March. Peace, C. Ray. Glad you could join in. I just knew when I got through March, I knew. Okay, through March, you know, it's on. And it is. It's on now. On and popping. So, I'll start chitty-chatting, as my daddy used to say, chitty-chatting. He used to also say stuff like, peace, Sister Keisha. He used to also say stuff like, he used to love to eat cheese tidbits. He say, he tell my sister, hey baby, go in there and get me some of them cheese titty bits. Yeah, my daddy was a trip. So we're gonna start chitty-chatting here while I'm doing what I do. You know, I'm sure most of you have seen the videos. They normally come out, you know, you see them around Easter, or you see the post about how Easter comes from the goddess Astarte, and it's dealing with estrogen, and you know, you all are pretty probably familiar with all that. And sometimes it is people who are, you know, quote unquote Christian, who put this stuff out, and they talk about how, oh, it's pagan worship, and or no, or it might be your more Hebrew Israelite type people, you know, who are talking about how the whole Easter celebration is pagan worship and this and that. I will go to my grave saying that he or she who does not understand language is forever at a great disadvantage. And I'm not saying you got to be able to go out here and speak every tongue, because I damn sure can't. But that don't have anything to do with understanding the lingua the linguistics, the tongues. You don't have to be able to speak every person's language to understand how language is transitory. It moves, it shifts. So if you put yourself in a box starting to talk about words, then you're lost, because the word is just an outlier or a secondary expression of a deeper hidden concept. The more I move this damn thing, the more it's like I'm still ain't on the screen. How many of y'all know about this? Your what you call it? I don't think I can get nothing. Oh yeah, I can. See that little bit right there? See that? See, some of y'all rich folk will go ahead and throw away your dish cleaner or whatever you call it, dish detergent right now. But see, this is a little something extra I can get out of here. See, this is called making it. So see, we shake that up. You see all them suds in there? We can stretch that a little bit more. I got another thing of what you call them down there, but hey, why not get all of it out of there? I paid for all of it. Okay. So they'll talk about how Easter is all pagan worship. You better believe it, C. Ray. Make it work. As my grandmama would say, you better learn how to do. That's one of her favorite sayings. You better learn how to do. She's telling y'all better get back to the old way, because the new way ain't working. Yeah, they go off on that tangent about, oh, it's pagan and this and that. And do they know what the word pagan means? Because every so-called religious person says that they want peace. Peace. Even people who ain't religious say they want peace. Peace. And what is funny is that if you don't study, or even if you don't study, if you're not open-minded enough to even entertain, you know, the idea of peace. Do you know peace, the word peace, is the same as pale? To be at peace is to be pale, as in white. But what does that really mean? Talking about a light, a white light, where the different colors of the spectrum have come together to form a white, bright light. So you probably want to be a pagan. But that ain't what we're gonna deal with. Because there, you know, like I said, that's the mundane. You know, you can do a basic Google search and see they got the little pictures of the goddess Astarte, and which that's cool. But what we gonna do today, if we can, is we're gonna look at how the crucifixion story that everybody was snotting and crying over in church yesterday, and the preachers, you know, put on his good suit, and he said when he got to the part, he said, and on, just like that, and on, the church was already on their feet. They were already on their feet. They went out and bought new clothes and everything, waiting on that one moment when he said, and on what? And on the third day, he got up with all, and boy, before he could say all power, church went crazy. Tambourines, drums, you know, guitar, the organs, You know, I would like to do the research, the data on how much deodorant is sold before Easter Sunday. You know, people know they gonna tear that damn church up. Gonna be sweating. You know, at least for the people who are concerned about their personal hygiene. You know they gonna tear that church up. So I better get me an extra thing of Tussie. What y'all know about Tussie? But it is something to really rejoice about, but not in the sense that they're rejoicing about. If you are here and you may be new to the channel, you may never heard me get down, I encourage you to share these videos, whatever your networks are, whatever your social networks. I do believe this is we have a unique approach to scholarship here on this channel. And with that said, let's get into it. I took a couple of notes, and if y'all got a Bible handy, go ahead and get that, because I'm going to show you Kabbalah in the Bible. And what I think is unique is that about the approach that we're going to take is that I've heard a lot of presentations on Kabbalah, and they used to be intimidating to me. I mean, I really used like, man, it's just like when I started personal training. I used to see people who have been doing it longer than me, and I thought, man, what do they know that I don't know? You know, it's like, and I was always worried that I didn't know enough, and that drove me to really study to really hone in on my craft, because I was like, I want to be up there performing with the big boys, making the real paper. And what I came to find out after a while is that success is not always predicated on who's the most talented or who's the most knowledgeable. Sometimes it's just about who you know. Somebody opening a door. And a lot of times you discover a lot of people really don't know much of shit, who do a bunch of talking. But that's another subject. So I came to develop my own approach to Kabbalah. And I want to share it with you and demystify this constantly evolving and changing system of divine knowing. There is no end to Kabbalah. It's constantly unfolding. So today we're going to get a glimpse, an introductory glimpse into its historical formation. And when I say historical, I don't mean historical in the typical sense of, Haitian Revolution started 1799 or 1800, whatever, 1801, and then Industrial Revolution started, and no, it's not in that sense. We're talking about a mystical history, a mystical unfolding that we can't necessarily put numbers to, but they are true realities, okay? So I want to start off with, we're going to refer to A.E. Waite's Kabbalah. And I'm adamant about, we need to get out of the habit of sitting and let somebody do a whole bunch of talking to you and don't never share nothing about where they're getting none of this shit from. You know, I'm rolling hard on these motherfucking gurus. And see, I said I wasn't gonna do no cursing. Let's see if I can reset. I roll hard on these guru type people who want to sit and do a whole bunch of gum bumping and professing how divine they are, you know, and telling you that you need to listen to them. You know, everybody's borrowing and getting something from somewhere else because there's nothing new under a sun. Okay, so if you're too insecure to share where you getting your shit from, then you full of shit. Okay, so you know we need to get in the habit of vetting out information and stop because something sounds good or there's a good presentation or they got good videos and good clips that we didn't accept that as the truth. You need to learn, if you're going to be God, then you need to learn how to act like a motherfucking God. You need to learn how to think for yourself, feel for yourself, move through yourself. And just because you go and refer to sources does not mean that you are worshiping. I don't worship A.E. Waits. He's just a slave for me. He didn't intend for me to be able to get none of it. You think A.E. Waits was writing for me? Shh. The arrogance. They never thought that somebody like me from North Carolina would be even remotely interested in this stuff. But I am. And this is the wrong hands you want it to fall in. Because this is my manual. Okay? So I want to read, and it's yours. It's available to you. Okay? We're going to go to page 318. I want to read something. I wrote it down, but my handwriting so atrocious. It says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. It will be a time for the revelation of mysteries, which the will of God has concealed through the ages. But as the day of the king approaches, even little children shall know the mysteries of wisdom. Listen to this again, just a piece. It will be a time for the revelation of mysteries, talking about right now. Revelation of mysteries, which the will of God has concealed through the ages. But as the day of the king approaches, even little children shall know the mysteries of wisdom. Now, that last part comes from the Zohar. The Zohar is called the Book of Splendor. It's a Kabbalistic text. Okay? It's considered to be a companion text of the Torah. The Torah is your exoteric. You have the Talmud, you have the Zohar, and got other manuscripts that are dealing with the esoteric nature of Judaism, which is Kabbalah. Okay? That passage is so significant because, let me get my Bible, because it lines right up with the Bible. Notice in the end it says, it will be a time for the revelation of mysteries which the God of will has concealed through the ages. But as the day, now stop, conceal, when they say concealed, that is what the Kabbalah is. It's Olam. It is God concealed. Now, in your Bible, if something is concealed, it is trapped, right? And I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's okay. Because if something is concealed, see, you got to change your way of thinking, your perception has to change. It has to expand. Because, listen again, the will of God has concealed through the ages. Now, in the book of Revelations, what was concealed? Chapter 20, verse 2. Let's start with this verse 1. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding the key of the abyss and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000. Now, hold on now. You ain't got to be no rocket scientist to figure this out. Conceal, bound. Same thing. To conceal something is to hide it or to trap it. To bound something is to trap it. So the story of the history of Kabbalah is the history of Satan. But see, when you hear that word, some of you may be thinking about a character. That character does not exist. Just like the character that everybody was crying over yesterday does not exist. Not in a historical sense, but it very much exists. And Satan very much exists because they are the same exact thing. Not a person, not even an entity. It is a concept. An ever-evolving, changing concept. So in Revelations, it's telling you about this bound, concealed thing that is being referenced here in the Zohar. Now it says, concealed through the ages, but as the day of the king approaches, even little children shall know the mysteries of wisdom. That's referring to me. And it's referring to you. See, children would then coincide with sons. See, sons is not denoting something as a sex, masculine, feminine, male, female. You are all sons. We are all sons of the Most High. Not Most High as in some abstract something, no, but of the highest aspect of consciousness. We are the sons or the offspring of it. Okay, let me prove what I'm trying to say to you. If you got your Bible, go to Matthew chapter 18. Remember, it says in the Zohar, even little children shall know the mysteries of wisdom. Okay, so Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. You're very familiar with this if you went to church. Truly I say to you, unless you are converted and become like children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kabbalah. You've been learning Kabbalah all your life. That's Kabbalah. Stay with me. Now, let's go to a... First of all, Matthew is that business. Every book in the Bible is, but Matthew is that motherfucking business. Serious magic, serious occult information, Kabbalah, Sufit, all of the shit. Okay, chapter 8. Matthew still. Let's start with verse 11. Say to you that many will come from east and west and recline at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, what does that place sound like that they're describing? While I'm getting my book. What does that place sound like that they are describing? It sounds like hell. Now, when we hear that hell, there would be gnashing of teeth in hell. Okay? Let me explain. I just told myself this morning I'm too grown. Let me explain one of my philosophies on how I deal with language. That's right. Dap, what's up, Dap? Man, I need to holler at you. I didn't know you was a beat man. You know, I be sometimes going doing my investigative work on some of these people who be on here. Like, who is this? Make sure these are real people. I stumbled across some SoundCloud. I gotta holler at you. But there's something in here I want to. This book is called Atomic Christ by William Henry. He drops a lot of stuff in his books, but there's something. I know I wrote the note down of where it's at. I want to say page 52. I want to read you something because I want you to understand. Oh, okay, that's Brianna. Okay, what's happening? My basic philosophy on language, or one of them, is that if something sounds alike, it is. It is. What's happening, Golden Star? And I came to this conclusion before I even read this. But sometimes it's nice to have some confirmation. This is William Henry. He says, a third way we will discover the Grail's nuclear secrets is to utilize the symbolic occult language in which the Grail mysteries are written, the language of the birds. The language of the birds is called a phonetic Kabbalah, a phonetic language code. This code equates words that sound alike in different languages. Remember I told you, you ain't got to speak everybody's language. You need to listen. When you hear things that sound alike, when you hear like in Arabic, you smoke hookah, it's called an agila. Or what do you call a thing you play on, the guitar? Listen, agila, guitar. Well, look at how an agila or hookah is shaped. It's round, it's got a belly. Well, look at a guitar. What does it have? It's got a belly. And then you make the connection about what's the real symbolic meaning behind this. It's talking about a belly, where something can be impregnated or where gestation occurs. And the gestation is the sound. For the guitar, the sound emerges from it because it's gestating in the belly of the guitar. For the agila or the hookah, the smoke is bellowing. Listen to the word, bellowing, belly. It is bubbling and bellowing, and then it will come up and you'll be able to pull it out. All language is connected. And one way you find it is through bird language. Now, in the university, they consider this to be hogposh. Because the key, we learned this from Brother Bobby. The key is they always want to make you think everything is so separated. And you got to go and spend years of toiling in this arena and that arena. What's up, Marcus? To learn something. And what you do is everything always stays separate and you're never actually able to pull it all together. We're going to pull it all together using bird language. Okay? So when you hear the gnashing of teeth and we refer then to hell, well, let's just look at all the words that emerge out of the L sound. L. Okay, this is true ghetto cinema here, or whatever you want to call it. So let me do this. See, I got everything set up today. And this is review for a lot of y'all who you know. Okay, look. If you take hell, ain't that perfect? Damn marker don't want to write. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm never gonna finish washing these dishes. Okay. Hell. Now just look at these words. Hell. What is our human body composed of? Somebody. All right, y'all taking too long. Cells. Okay. And a cell does what? Traps light. Okay. So once we so now you got to turn on your symbolic mind, or put on your symbolic hat. This is key. Because then this explains how cell can coincide with this word, jail. Okay? And jail then becomes this, Gale. And then Gale, we know that vowels are interchangeable. Gale then becomes this. The A moves over. Diphthong is formed. Diphthongs, two vowels together. Then we get the word goal. Then, off from cell, we also have the word shell. Let me show you how all this connects. See, shell. But then we got gold sitting down here, right? It's the oddball. But guess what? Shell is also in Hebrew Sheol. Gold, Sheol. But Sheol comes from shell. Shell coincides with cell. We're talking about humanity itself. All right? We got that established. So when they talk about these children, Matthew chapter 8, these children will be cast out. Come on now. There you go. Let's hope that this don't flip. When the children will be cast out, we're talking about a creation story. Hold on, let me rig this thing up here. Yeah. We're talking about a creation story. Okay? Where's my damn notes? Oh, okay. Now, where I want to go with that, just let me remind you again, just real quick, what that scripture said. Chapter 8, verse 12, it said, the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into the outer darkness. In that place, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay? Now, at the same time that humanity is created, we are also talking about the death of Christ. What people commemorated yesterday, of course they'll say it's the death of Christ, but they're thinking of a historical figure from 2,000 or so years ago. What I'm telling you, I'm not positive, what I'm telling you with assurance is that it is a creation story. The death of Christ is a creation story of all humanity, period. Point blank. That's what it is. If you got your Bibles, go again to Revelations 13 and 8. And it says, first of all, is Jesus or Christ, is that not called the Lamb? Are we in agreement on that? Everybody knows worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. Ain't that referring to God? I mean, to Jesus, right? Okay. 13 and 8. And who dwell on the earth will worship him. Everyone whose name has not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who has been slain. The Lamb was slain. Well, if the Lamb is Christ and the Lamb was slain at the foundation of the earth, then bingo, now we cooking with grease. Now we cooking with grease. So then when we see in Matthew's, when it talks about these children will be cast out and it'll be gnashing of teeth, pain and suffering, we know those two coincide. They talking about the same story. Now, this story was retold for you in the story of Superman. This is the story of Christ. Now, Superman's name, his I at least gotta wash a couple of dishes. His name is Kal-El. Okay? Now, if anybody's got a Strong's Concordance, I wanna give you a glimpse of how classes go down with Masters of the Cosmos. This is what we do. I don't like to sit and do a whole bunch of all the talking. I like some participation because it just makes things more engaging, and you really retain things that way. And I hope that you are here to retain some things and then go back and do your further investigation. I would hope that the books that I share, you actually buy those books. I would hope so. So I hope that somebody has a Strong's Concordance. If anybody out there is maybe, I know you might be working, gotta take that into account. Is anybody in a position where they're at their house or something and you got a Strong's Concordance? We'll just give it about a few seconds. If anybody, see if anybody replies. If nobody replies, then I'll just go ahead and tell you and we'll move on. But it's all, I just bought parallel. All right, that's what's up, Lokeo. She just got Parallel Myths. It's a bad book. It cut through a lot of. You got one? You got a Strong's Concordance? Dap or Brianna? Okay, so Golden Star got one too. Okay, look. This is what I want y'all to look for. Look up the word curse. And I want you, it should be the first entry in the back of the book. If not, you might have to go through some of the. Now I want you to look up the word curse. In hand, okay. Look up the word curse for me. And then I want you to go to the back and tell me what's the reference for it. As far as what's the Hebrew word that corresponds with curse. Dun 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 dun. Okay, now, Kal-El. Thank you, Brianna. Kal-El. Now, of course, in the Superman story, let me show you how it's spelled in the book. His name is spelled let me find it for you. I love this book. My daughters like this book too. If I can't find it, I'll just... But look, here's the capsule when Krypton was about to blow up. This is the capsule that Jor-El, Superman's father, built. Okay? Look at the shape here. That's your pineal gland. Okay? And then he puts, damn, let me find where, here we go. Look at the spelling. Now, of course, they're not gonna lay it right out for you, but look, my Kal-El. So all your life, growing up in your religious background, you were taught that a curse is something bad. What's the first curse we learned about? The curse of Ham. How Noah cursed Ham. Okay? Well, once again, it pays to take the time to look up stuff. Just look it up. You know, in just our at least my parents and my and the generation before them, my grandmother and them. Do you know how much more access we got to shit than they did? I mean, just think about it. You're sitting here on your smartphone at 1:22 listening to a mini lecture. Do you know how privileged you are? I mean, my grandmama was a domestic, so she ain't got no time to be standing around and listen to no philosophical talk. She'd been over in some corner with a toothbrush cleaning out a corner and ironing somebody's clothes, and when those things are talking about words, see, Ray, I know that's a common story for a lot of us. Both of my grandmothers were domestics, raising other people's children. That's why I get very, very, I sometimes I know I can sound preachy, but I mean, it's what I was sent to do. I guess it's just, I'm doing I'm doing my mission. This is my mission right here. I grew up in a Baptist church. In a Baptist church, a missionary Baptist church, you always got mission. Go out and see the old folk and go to the prisons and so forth. Well, this is my mission. And I guess you could say this is my way of showing love, in a way. Because I'm really trying to encourage you. What's up, Kristen? It's really, I'm trying to encourage you to seek the vastness of your potential. Do you know the word Lord literally means potential? In masonry, high potentate, when you have the pot comes back to, it means knowledge, okay? But it also means potential. So that's what we're hoping here. So Kal-El means curse. What is the curse then? Christ itself is the cursed. It's the curse. What everybody was in church crying about yesterday is the curse. Christ is the plague. Now understand where I'm coming from with that. Your gift and your curse is the same damn thing. That suffering that is talked about on the cross, that is the suffering of you being a human. And I know this is all stuff I've covered before, but we need to, we need to lay our foundation as we get to where we're going. Okay? So what's next in my notes? Now the next thing I want you to look at is, if you got your Bible, go to Matthew chapter 1, verse 17. Matthew 1 and 17. And Matthew 1 and 17. It says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. From David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations. And from the deportation to Babylon to the Messiah, 14 generations. Now, why is it that those passages keep referencing 14? Anybody want to take a crack at that? See, this is what used to turn me off about the Bible. I would read something like that and like, man, this is fucking gobbledygook bullshit. Who's supposed to remember? Because see, the way the Bible was introduced to me is that your spirituality was based on your ability to memorize and regurgitate scriptures, which is just rote learning. That don't mean you know nothing. Everybody know that person like that. That old shiftless, ain't worth shit motherfucker who come quoting a bunch of scriptures. Well, you know in Ezekiel they say, thou art farthest without thy wife's asses. So what is the symbolism? Right, there we go. 5. But what about 5 though? I'm gonna make up if you've ever seen the old C. Freeman L chart where he got the man on there, he gives all of he put a whole bunch of symbolism in one area. Actually, the C. Freeman L chart is actually a book. He was able to, and those symbols he put on one chart, that's enough for a book. You can write a book on all the stuff he put on there. But let me show you 5. We figured out that it's referencing 5. But what does that really mean? Okay. Christians say power, refinement, fire, element, purification, Hades. Okay. Now we cooking with grease. Okay. 5 is a number, a mystical number that every time you cross something, you then go to a 5. Okay? Since I did a couple of dish-ass, let's go back to the board for a minute. I'm gonna give y'all some of the stuff that that's coming off of this poster that I'm gonna make. Okay, let's turn this around. Camera all up in my face, looking like Captain Big Face. Okay, let's look at the 5. Let me show you the mysticism behind the number 5. Let me show you a word here I want you to look up. Now the second one is don't even matter. It might be netters, might be deities, but this one, epogomenal. I hope I spelled it right. This means left over. Oh shit. Epigomenal means epigomenal. I think I spelled it right. Epigomenal means left over. Okay? That's the key to number 5. The scriptures we read, Matthew's 8 and 12 or so, wherever it was, 13, whatever. It talked about these children who would be cast out. If they're cast out of somewhere, then that means wherever they go, they're left over from where they were cast out of. Superman came from the land of death. Krypton. Crypt means death. Death. So that means Superman was left over. Okay? So what are they basing all this on? Who are the 5 epigomenal netters? Osiris, Isis, Set, Neptes. I might not be spelled wrong, spelled right. And Horus is the 5th element. Here's another way to look at it. Yesterday, everybody went on and on about their Savior went to the cross. Okay? North, south, east, west, all converge where? At one point. This is Christ. The merging point. The spoke in the wheel, the center of the wheel, which would also be Ezekiel. He saw a wheel within a wheel. Okay? Now, you probably knew all this stuff. Let me show you some other stuff about 5 you may not have known. The average body temperature is 98.6. Now, let's all you good mathematicians, what does that add up to? 9 and 7 is 17. 17 and 6 is 23. 2 and 3 is what? 5. How many teeth does an adult have in his mouth? 32. 3 and 2 equals 5. Okay? How many chromosomes do you get from each parent? 23 equals 5. How many fingers are on each hand? 5. How many phalanges are on each hand? Now look, I'm going to show you what a phalange if you don't know. That's a phalange from here to there. That's a joint, from joint to joint's phalange. From here to here is a phalange. From here to here is one. So in total, each hand has, guess what? 14 phalanges. 5. We can go on and on and on with this. So when we hear passages about the hand of God, the hand is not just talking about a hand. A hand is talking about a divine knowing. So when you see Star Wars and you see the character Yoda, you know Yoda coincides with the word potato, because potato comes back to yod in Hebrew, and yod means hand. But then yod changes to yada and it means knowledge. Well, if we know that vowels are interchangeable, what in the hell does hand and knowledge have to do with each other? Well, if I know something, what do? I can grasp it. If I say to you, are you grasping what I'm saying? I'm asking you, do you understand? You understand here. But it coincides with this, the hand. So then Christ would be the divine knowing. Am I making sense? Now, but Jamal, we want Kabbalah. It's coming. It's coming. We want Kabbalah. We've heard you say this on the radio, Brother Jamal. We want Kabbalah. Believe it or not, I'm giving it to you right now, but I'm going to give it to you here in a minute. Real plain and simple. Matthew chapter 2, verse 16. Then when Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he came very enraged and sent and slew all the male children who were in Bethlehem and all its vicinity, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the Magi. That coincides with Matthew chapter 8, what we read, verse 12, where the children would be, the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into the outer darkness. It's the Superman story. Now, this is the birth of the tree of life, Kabbalah. Let me show you. Now, when I went to church, on Easter Sunday especially, they would sing a song. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. Let me see. One day when I was lost, he died upon the cross. I know it was the blood for me. And then the next thing will come in. They pierced him in his side. They pierced him in his side. They pierced him in his side for me. And them old sisters would be feeling that. I had more respect for the church then. Like it had more feeling. You know, do you know that that's what they were singing about is Kabbalah? I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. But then when they got to the point, they pierced him in his side. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the simplest introduction to Kabbalah you've ever seen in your motherfucking life. Excuse my Moorish Latin. Let's go back to the board. I know it was the blood. They pierced him in his side. That's what they used to say. They pierced him in his side. Now, in Kabbalah, oh, you crazy, Sister Zeta. Okay. In Kabbalah, if I can remember the Sephiroth, or each Sephirah, you got Kether, you've got, from Kether comes Hokmah, then Bina, okay? And then from Bina, you get here. Now this is called Tifereth. Tifereth. Now what I want you to take note of is that this Sephirah right here. Peace, Sister Karen. Thank you. Thank you. This Sephirah right here is called the Sephirah of the sacrifice gods. Okay? This is the sacrifice gods. Now, something else I want to show you is that you read in either Ezekiel or Isaiah 1 how Lucifer fell to earth like a lightning bolt. Now, I want you to understand that again is the same story of Christ, Satan, Superman, you, all wrapped up in one. Now, because if you understand Kabbalah, this is how the energy moves in Kabbalah. It goes from Kether to Hokmah, Hokmah to Bina. Now, I want you to track the movement. Boom, 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 boom. Then it goes boom, 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 boom. Then it goes boom, 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 boom. Look at what we got. Okay. Then from here, which I'll move the other path down, from Tifereth, it goes over to, and you got this in the middle. That's the spine. It's the Jed pillar. Okay. From here, another world emerges, and shit, I think it's called Gabora. I'm going off memory here, so y'all. Gabora, okay? And from Gabora, it goes across to Hesed. Okay. I'm going to stop there. Now, what I want you to see is look at, it went from Kether, K for Kether. It went to C for Hokmah. It went from C to Hokmah to B from Bina, or Bina. It went from Bina down to T for Tifereth. From Tifereth, it goes to Gabora. From Gabora, it goes to, Hesed. What you see here, this is lightning. See? So when they say this, that Lucifer fell like lightning, they're telling you how the Kabbalah was formed. This is how the energy unfolded. Now, what's interesting about Tifereth, though, hold on. Hold on. Y'all hold on. I gotta sit down. This is bullshit. You know, I ain't 5'6", so goddamn, I'm doing a one extended crunch, trying to get low enough to write. Now here, Tifereth, okay? This is where I want you to really lock in, because Tifereth would coincide with the fourth chakra. Okay? Now this is the good shit. This is where I want you to get your popcorn. Fourth chakra. We know the fourth chakra coincides with what? The heart. All right. In the song, they said they pierced him in his side. They pierced him in his side with a spear. And this is another lecture right here. The spear. The Roman centurion in John chapter 19, verse something. The Roman centurion pierced Christ in his side. All right? Right here. This is the Roman centurion. This is where he pierced Christ at. He pierced Christ in the heart. Because between the fourth and fifth rib ribs. When you go in, guess what you get? The heart. The Bible is a very, very intricate, intelligently written book. So before you talk shit about it, because you conscious now, you talking about all them people worshiping Jesus. Back up off of talking about the people. Let them do what they do. You're supposed to be a scientist. You're supposed to be digging. Not just regurgitating what you hear somebody. This is a continuing unfolding of knowledge. You'll spend the rest of your life unlocking those 66 books. And we ain't even talking about all the other ones that's been thrown out. But what's so amazing about how it was written is that even though the truth was deliberately concealed, there's that word again, concealed, it's still there. If they took it down to one book, the truth would still be held in one book. Every book has a creation story and an end time story. Every book in the Bible. Every book will tell you about how the Kabbalah originated, which is the origin of you. So, back again. So when they say they pierced him in his side, they're talking about right here. So the death of Christ is the crossing over. This is where the Godhead is, and we know beyond this is the unnameable. But it forms here as we try to give it some type of reference point. And then it starts to disperse. When we start to see these lightning bolt lines start to come down, this is what they talk about in the Bible, where the children or the sons were cast out. Even in the crucifixion story, there's a part where they came and cast lots of Jesus' garments. The word cast means to break up, separate. This is God being broken up into Kabbalah. And you've got 10 Sephiroth, which is the plural. 10, as in 10 fingers. That's why knowledge always comes back to the hand. Your ability to grasp, which you see come back to the 5. 5 is for each hand. When those hands come together, that's why you see the praying hands. The praying hands come together, and what does it look like? It's a vagina too. And the vagina closes and traps. When you put the hands together, you are enclosing and trapping the divine essence. You have attained it. That's what that symbolizes. So if you want to know what the real Masonic meaning behind Trump saying we got to build this wall, you need to stay tuned. That's going to be a lecture right there. I'll explain to you what Trump really means by building the wall. And it ain't got shit to do about no, cutting off tortilla supplies to fucking San Antonio and shit. No, he's speaking Masonically. So you came into existence by crossing. Everything, the heart is the crossroads. So this is the first death coming into reality. Because at the very bottom is what? Malkuth. Okay? So your rising up involves another death. You die through the heart. Now, this is why I posit that in the mystery system, it was based on you going through 40 years, which we know that then became the number for, your undergraduate degree is 4 years in college, which is a step down. But the key is the number 4. And what I've seen personally in my life is that 40 years does something to you if you are on a quest. If you're on, it don't mean that you had to start your quest at 20 and you was all awakened and enlightened at 17. No, it can be that you started at whenever. But if you're sincere and you allow yourself to mature, something happens spiritually when you turn 40. And something, you exponentially will grow in your awareness and your understanding every birthday after 4. I bear witness. I thought last year, I thought I was on it. Man. I was like, well, goddamn, how much more is infinite. It's infinite. And my father used to tell me that, he said, your 40s are going to be your best years. And it all lines up metaphysically, because Tiferet on the Kabbalah coincides with the fourth chakra. And every time you go through the fourth chakra, you have to die. Painful death. Painful. You have to die every time you go through that fourth chakra. So I said this on the radio, and I'll repeat this, and I stand by it. Add up your birthdays, because it ain't just about 40. It's about add up and take the time to take inventory of the 4s in your life. When you turn 4, when you turn 13. Why do you think the Jews had the bar mitzvah at 13? They hold a lot of the secrets, because they've held on to somebody else's, our identity, the real Yehudi. Not the Jew, but the Yehudi. They've held on to the real secrets of the Yehudi, and they abide by those, because it's real magical shit. That's why they had the bar mitzvah at 13. 13 is a crossover. 3 and 1 is 4. Okay? Next one would be 22, master number. Then you got 31. Then you got 40. And you got 58. On and on and on. These numbers, and it's all about this. Numerology matters most when you are paying attention. Because you can go back to these times in your life and revisit them, things that happened, but you were not aware. But now as you go back and reassess them, you can see like, oh shit, look what was going on. So now part of being conscious is you are awake and aware of your surroundings and what's going on in your life, and you are paying attention to seasons, signs and seasons and wonders. You're paying attention to them. So now you don't move blindly. And that's part of what Kabbalah is. Kabbalah is the intricate divine drama laid out of basically God finding itself. And sometimes these people make it out like they have a secret to this system. There is no secret to this system other than you. Why do you think your hormones are called your secretions? That's the real secrets. Kabbalah is based on, look at the thing, look at it in its structure. If you can pull up any picture of a Kabbalah, look at it. The top is Kether, the crown. So the mindset that you put yourself in is controlling your hormones, because your mental state, your master gland is your pineal, then the pituitary, then the hypothalamus, and then the structure goes down from there on the hierarchy. So the consciousness that you have has a way of controlling the rest of your hormonal activities. So all those Sephiroth that flow down from Kether, they are still under the guise of the crown. Now, a whole nother different conversation is the other side of the Kabbalah, which is the Klipot. Now, that's a whole different conversation. And everybody was wilding out about, I was too, because I love it. The show on Netflix, Stranger Things. I love it. If you pay attention to Stranger Things introduced to those who may not have known the Klipot. They call it the upside down world. Now, if you notice, towards the end of last year, go and Google this, the upside down Christmas tree. And I looked at that thing and I said, what in the hell are they, what's the ritual behind this? And finally hit me. I put two and two together, you know, the Stranger Things. And this. Here's the thing. If your origin does not come from outer space or outer dimensionally, like Superman, talking about dimensions, then understanding how energy flows, the goal is to try to tap into something, a frequency. You know, it's just like you in your car and you go through a tunnel and, you know, your signal. This is my favorite coffee cup. My wife got that for me. The Snake. That's my year. 1977. Philosophical, organized, intelligent, intuitive, decisive. You know, it's good for your ego. You know, nothing else. What the fuck was I talking about? I'm full of shit. I got completely lost my train of thought over a damn coffee cup. Oh yeah, tap into the frequency. Thank you, Marcus. So you're in your car, you listen to the radio, and the thing fades out. You know, and you're trying to maneuver the dial to tap into, well, what's the next FM station as I'm traveling? I'm gonna go through, you know, I encounter this like when I'm driving 20 back to the East Coast, to Atlanta. You know, you go through Shreveport, you go through Monroe, you get through Vicksburg, Jackson, so forth, and you're trying to tap into the frequency of whatever the FM radio is in the city you're going through. Well, that is what the whole ritual was with Stranger Things. Let's introduce the Klipot, and let's see if maybe it will ignite something in certain minds to bring to deliver a degree of access to this this energy that is not naturally available to certain segments. Okay? Then they put out the upside down Christmas tree. If you look at a Klipot, that's what it is. It's an upside down version of the light side of Kabbalah. So, how can we tie all this in? The front side of the tree would be the, let's call it the reflection. Like you see me, you see a reflection of my exo existence, the outer me. The Klipot would be like the crude oil. The front side of the tree would be the refined oil. Okay? You can then use this as gasoline, but the pure oil that comes up out of the ground is the Klipot. So that means the true source of the power is the Klipot, because it is where it just comes in. It ain't been stepped on. It ain't been cut. It ain't been watered down. It's just a pure energy. So you see in this show the attempt to introduce this concept. And I believe that sometimes they just sit back and this is why this internet ain't going nowhere. Don't worry, the internet ain't going nowhere because it's the best surveillance material that you could ever think of. It's the internet. And you can see how people are, how misguided they are, how off key they are, and then who's really on key and who's really able to decipher shit and break shit down. Like, okay, wait a minute now. It's great surveillance. But something I wanted to say. Oh yeah, this is another lecture. But part of the Kabbalah too, what activates Christ out of his dormancy is the word. Was not Christ said to be the word made flesh? Okay. Kabbalah and the concept of Christ is the whole template for this internet that we're on right now. Because to get on this internet, what did you have to do? Now I want somebody to give me this. What did you have to do? What did you have to do to get on to whatever device you're on? How do you get access to the internet? Come on, somebody give it to me. How do you get access? Sign in, but give me another word. Another something else for sign in. How do you get on it? It's the same thing, but there's another word for it. Or another couple of words. Log in. You have to log in. What is the origin of log in? L-O-G. L-O-G. Do y'all get it? What's another word for? What's the Greek rendering for word? What is word in Greek? Y'all know it. You smart people. Y'all know it. Word in Greek. Word logos. Thank you, Sister Zeta. Logos. It's the truth is all around us. Everything's based on magic. Everything is based on magic. So the internet is what happened in Matthew chapter 2, verse 16. King Herod is looking for Christ. He's trying to fish him out by seeing who's logging on. Look at that. Log. Look at this. Logos. Logos. Word. Word. Another word for Christ. Log on. Internet. Look at this. The internet is nothing but a model of Kabbalah. Look at the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah, you could say, is a web. Okay? Internet is a web. They call it the World Wide Web. But another word for web is womb. So your womb, your internet is Mary. And the logon or login is the word that will fish out Christ. And this is all based on Kabbalah. Okay, Marcus said log equals memory records. Here goes another concept for you. Well, if log is memory and records, then what would Kabbalah be? Same thing. And we call that the Akash. The Akash. And Akash is nothing more than this. Shit. Shit. I made this revelation like last year, and I was telling everybody about shit. And I swear, it's all about shit. Everything you read is about something falling. I don't have my notes with these scriptures I was writing down. Yeah, I do. I don't have the notes, but I remember it. And we got to wrap this up. And then I'll summarize. Let me say this and I'll summarize. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 17. All of this stuff is Kabbalah. Kabbalah is, remember, something starts from a position of high and it falls down, flows, right? Well, don't you taking your food up here and then it digests, falls down, and as it falls down, it disperses? That's Kabbalah. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 17. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, I'm starting at 16, and how we came through the midst of the nations through which you passed. Passed. Listen to the language. Passed. Shit. Okay, listen. Moreover, you have seen their abominations and their idols of wood, stone, silver, and gold, which they had with them. Now, one source I got says that the original Hebrew version of chapter 17 says, moreover, you have seen their abominations and their dung hills. Dung hills. Shit. Peace, Erica. Never late, on time. You go back and look at it. Now, understand that in Deuteronomy, we're seeing the last of Moses, and we're seeing the torch being passed to Joshua. Okay? And Joshua comes up out of a land called Shittim. Don't believe me? Go to Joshua. Chapter 2. Then Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men as spies secretly from Shittim. Shit. Now, put all this together. Yesterday was Easter. Easter commemorates the death, burial, resurrection of Christ. Christ is chrism. Chrism is oil as an anointed. Okay? And it then coincides with some type of black gooey substance. All right. Or as honey. But that's beside the point. Jesus comes down, as the story of Superman tells us. Now I want you just to flip it. I have this beautiful, delicious apple right here. It's called ain't this a motherfucker right here? Look at the name of this apple. Opal. You know what opal means? Opal means evil. The word evil and opal is the same thing. Evil comes from the root upal, and upal coincides with opal, which means precious stone down from under. Now, upal has the root UPA or OPA, which you got a whole series of ancient texts coming out of India called the Upanishads. These are the books of evil. So this is evil, literally right here. This motherfucker is evil. Now, I'm going to show you Kabbalah. And I want to show you the death, burial, and resurrection. Well, I ain't going to show you the actual burial because you'd have to watch me take a shit. Because that's what this shit is all about. And I do not want to involve you all in that world. And y'all don't want to be involved. Here's knowledge. Knowledge becomes ignorance once I start tearing it apart. Otherwise, this pretty apple will just decay and be worthless. Knowledge is worthless without dissemination being broken up. So take this as God. God decays and dies if God does not do something with itself. So God has to damn fall, decay, to go through alchemy. Okay? This apple was taken in at my head, Kether. Obviously, Kether is not the highest reality because this apple came from outside of Kether, which is my crown. So this came from a world unnameable, which they try to call Ein Sof Okay? But as I start to eat it, it starts to be broken up. This is Lucifer falling down, Kal-El coming from Krypton, Superman coming, Christ being slain at the foundation of the earth. This is the slaying of the Lamb. Now, inside of my body, I have a food pipe that's moving down, meeting my stomach right about here. My stomach is taking in, it has acids that start to break it down. Didn't it say in the scripture that the children would experience gnashing of teeth going in hell? Did you know? That's right, Sister Zeta. Macintosh apple, 5-star in the middle. They knew what they were doing. They chose the apple. So it's getting broken up. The gnashing of teeth. This is hell. The stomach, like they say, we're in the belly of the beast. Sometimes we say stuff and don't know how divine what we're saying really is. In the belly of the beast. So we're going through in hell, Sheol. Okay? Now, the lowest point to get to is when you feel that rumbling in your belly. And it's like, oh man, I got to go and have a bowel movement. And you go and you pass that. That is what is referred to in Deuteronomy as the abominations. In Kabbalah, it's called Malkuth. Now, the essence of what makes up that shit is the Klipot. The Klipot is all the stuff you don't want to look at. If you take your life, all of your fucked up things that have happened, Klipot. Some of your tragedies you don't want to look at. Some of your baggage. Some of your failures, Klipot. Stuff you want to file back into the dark recesses. But until those things be merged and transformed, then there can be no full reality of God, which is alchemy. So I've got to pass this shit up out of me, and it's got to stink. Okay? But if we're talking about an agricultural perspective, I then take that excrement and I then put it into the ground. And that ground is now fertile. And I can take the seeds from this apple and put it into that fertile ground and grow in Kabbalah what's called the world to come. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ, superstar, and the Kabbalah. I'm going to to the date. I'll actually need to send a shout out to Sister Zeta and her spouse. A year ago to the day, they sponsored me. To the date, I'll actually need to send a shout out to Sister Zeta and her, not to the day, but a year ago, this month. They thought enough of me to sponsor me to go to Indianapolis, Indiana, to give my first travel lecture. So that was a very humbling and exciting moment in life, and it was spiritual at 40 to be able to make this trip. And Indiana is a very magical city. You want to see how magic is used inside of a city. My God. So a month later, I started mastersofthecosmos.com. So I'll show you how fast time is moving. So next month will be a year since we started. This month is a year since I was fortunate enough to go and get a lecture. Shout out to all the people in Indiana or Indianapolis. And next month will be a year since I started the website. What you're seeing now is our classes are more interactive than this, because using a little system that I got, we can talk to each other, you can ask questions, I can share my screen, I can write stuff, I can share things with you, documents and so forth. I encourage you to go to mastersofthecosmos.com and become an adept member so you can start taking classes. I've had to take a little hiatus because I have to take care of business. I've been telling everybody April is on, and May is going to really be on. But I'll tell y'all some of the stuff in a later time that I've been able to manifest, but I encourage you to get over there, get a membership. I'm shooting for 2 classes this month. And I promise Sister Nalana from New York, peace to her, she's sister way up in Brooklyn, and bought a book, got a membership. That's the other thing. The book, printed book is coming. So if you bought a digital copy of the book, I'm gonna mail you out a book. There's no strings attached. Just as a way of saying thank you for, supporting, but I'm ready to do it. I've been having to sit here and hold my peace. I've been dying to teach and reveal some things that I've come across. I'm thankful for the ability to do these live things. I really enjoy them. And it's a way where I can not have to derail other things I got going on to do this. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. When I tell you we ain't even cracked the tip of the iceberg yet. So much for us to uncover. But mastersofthecosmos.com, get over there and get your adept membership. It's on now. And as always, stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down and look. Build your library. I'm telling you, build your library. Because the New Age burning of the Library of Alexandria, it's on. I'm telling you, it's on. And if you are somebody who's got a library, in the next 10 years, you might see people, if the world is still here, you might see the level of intelligence is going to be so low. And like the movie Dark City says, every now and then one of them wakes up. So for those people who start to wake up and are going to be looking for some type of guidance, it's not about you ego tripping. You know, people they're going to have to come to you because the human brain is shutting down. The human brain is shutting down. Do you know on my job, the rule is you have to write on the 8th grade level? And that's kind of high because normally you're supposed to write at a 4th grade level. The human attention span is like 8 seconds now. So just these few little people who on here watching this thing, I ain't ego tripping. I'm humbled because it's like, goddamn, you got to be one of the last 144,000 or something. You got the attention span to sit and listen to this shit. Do you know just that in itself? I don't care if you got 3 books at your house. I don't care if you got none. Just the mere fact that you could sit and your attention could hold this long. To listen to a raving lunatic go on for, what's this going on, 2 hours? That shows your divinity. You know, because I crack jokes, but this, you know, we get down with real shit over here. This is premium PhD scholarship. And I'm not ashamed to say it. So if you want more of this, then come on back, you hear? This is Brother Jamal signing out. Peace. Thank you, C. Ray. Thank all of y'all. Peace.